The former owner of this 2010 Lexus LS460L all-wheel drive is my boss and the owner of this dealership. And it's funny to think a car dealer going into another car dealership and buying a car, you might think to yourself, boy, that salesperson probably left that experience in tears. But the truth is, dealing with my boss, that salesman probably left more encouraged and inspired than he ever had been with a customer before, and probably went on to have his best sales month ever. It's very much, dealing with my boss is a very positive and reaffirming experience, to say the least. And of course, he only buys the best, and this is the absolute best of the best, an all-wheel drive LS460L with pretty much every single option that could be had on an all-wheel drive L. I'm going to pop the hood and we're going to start there. It has an absolutely incredible engine, 357 horsepower, 344 pound-feet of torque. And you might say, well, geez, Joe, you know, I've read on the internet these actually had 380 horsepower. And that's true in two-wheel drive. You get a little bump in horsepower and a corresponding bump in torque in two-wheel drive. And 357 is enough to move this, you know, essentially 5,000 pound vehicle. As soon as you sit in the car, it weighs 5,000 pounds. And still it goes 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, which is incredible for an all-wheel drive vehicle. In fact, a lot of tests show this going in less than 6.5 seconds from 0 to 60. And then real-world fuel economy combined, right around 20 miles per gallon, which again is super impressive for a car of this magnitude, this size and scale and performance. Taking a look around, I mean, it certainly is a beautiful car. It's a big car. It has essentially a 122-inch wheelbase, which is humongous. And we'll take a look at the benefits of that wheelbase here. Inside, well, again, my boss is quite tall, so he's obviously got this in a very comfortable for him place. Every single option, you have Mark Levinson sound, you have self-parking, heated everything, heated steering wheel, power sunshades on the side, power sunshade in the rear. This has both sport and comfort mode, and then you can also set it up for snow traction, which just means it starts off very sluggishly, but that's what you want in a performance vehicle. If a performance vehicle wants to take off fast when you're in the snow, obviously you're going to burn rubber if you don't have your traction control on, and if you do have your traction control on, you're not going to move at all. This also has power folding mirrors, so if you have tight parking spaces or anything like that, you're going into a narrow garage, you can just push the button and the mirrors fold in. Also, the self-parking feature, and that's a great feature on these cars. A lot of times, you know, you got a El Gaucho's, nice restaurant down here in downtown Seattle, and you know, the valet's taking forever, and you just kind of want to wing it and find parking somewhere near the restaurant. And obviously, a downtown city like Seattle, parking can be really tight. No big deal. You find a spot you like, you just push the hold button here, put the self-park button right here, and then it just gives you a little diagram of where you want to go. You just push that and you're ready to roll. The car just does its own thing, and away you go. I'm going to jump in the back seat. We're going to take a look at some of that extra space in the back. Now, this does not have what's called executive seating, but it is definitely seating for executives. In fact, it's limousine seating. Limousine seating means you can cross your leg one over the other without touching the seat in front of you. Certainly you can do that. And then it's just so opulent, even in the back, that faux suede headliner, just acres of leather and wood, and that beautiful Mark Levinson stereo. I mean, you're surrounded by more speakers in the back seat than you probably are in the living room of your house. And this is probably better sound than the living room in your house as well. And then also push button features, like I can make the sunshades come up right from here, just one push button, and I can also make the sunshades pull up for the back window as well. And then obviously I have heated seats in the back as well as in the front. Super, super, super comfortable. And then the trunk, well, the trunk is power as well. And so you just push the button and away she goes. And so 18 cubic feet of trunk space. I mean, a small family could live their lives comfortably in the back of this. I mean, it is super duper duper spacious. It's funny too, all this space for such a big car. It's incredibly aerodynamic. We'll take a look at the passenger side. In fact, I can just push this button right here. We can take a look at the passenger side here, and you get a sense for, and I'm going to close the hood, you get a sense for how aerodynamic this car is. And so You go, oh, you know, the LS, it's big and blocky. Heck no, it's got a coefficient of drag of 0.26. I mean, that's like future car CD. That is super, super slippery. And so you can imagine, correspondingly, this car is going to have a really high top speed. And so modern cars like this typically are limited in the 145, 150 mile an hour range. But a car with this low of a coefficient of drag and this much horsepower actually could probably go pretty darn fast out on the open road. I'm going to turn it on. Let's take a listen. And so famed for being one of the quietest cars on the road, I remember when these had originally come out, the original LS400 sedan, its claim to fame was that it was actually quieter than that current generation Rolls-Royce, making it the single quietest vehicle on the road. The original LS400 was an absolute shocker. It came out in 1989 for the 1990 model year, and then was followed in 1992 by an SC, or Sport Coupe version of that same car. It was so cheap for what it was. A typical Mercedes-Benz of the same caliber of luxury and what have you was in the $65,000 range and up. I mean, $90,000 for a fully maxed out E-Class or what have you with every single possible amenity. And so here comes Lexus cruising in at 40. And it was like, oh my God, it's just so much less expensive. It must just be a big Camry or something like that. And it wasn't a big Camry. It was a big leap forward for the car business. Lexus really shocked the industry when it came out in 1990. To a lesser extent, Infiniti, who came out at the same time, also came out with a strong representative class in their Q45. But everybody knew the star of the show was that LS. It changed the car business forever. It undermined everything that the Germans had accomplished over decades. And so you look at a car like this and you go, you know, maybe it's a little bit plain for my taste. It's not that extravagant, what have you. This is a car that was $85,000+ new as equipped, and it's barely over 40 with 30,000 miles. You can imagine the resale value from here is going to be spectacular. It's obviously the nicest anywhere type of condition with superlative service records, and it's in superb condition inside and out. Of course, zero cigarettes or anything, like zero abuse of any kind. It's just flawless. It's just a perfect, beautiful 3M clear bra in the front, not one rock chip kind of car that is fast, glamorous, luxurious, fully appointed, and of course it has all-wheel drive. And then best of all, it's a Lexus. And so how much are you going to worry driving a 30,000 mile Lexus that it's going to give you a bunch of headaches down the road? Rightfully, probably not at all. That's the beauty of owning a car like this. And if you have any questions about this particular car, anything that we have here at Honda of Seattle or Toyota of Seattle, please feel free to reach out and grab a hold of me anytime and let me know what I can do for you. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the pre-owned director of Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle, and you can reach me anytime at joet@hondaofseattle.com.